Alrighty, and also for those on Zoom as well, the QR code is up on the screen, so just go ahead and check that out, just so we have a head count of everyone that's here. That's okay. Sorry. Okay,
Is it recording?
Yes.
So that was
That was. Okay.
I can get started. It's 5:01.
Okay. Alrighty, everyone. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started with with today's presentation. Just gonna scooch over here a bit so that we can kind of like project their voice evenly. Alrighty, yeah. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started today. Just a final reminder, please go ahead and check in with the QR code if you haven't already. And today is the SOP workshop with an emphasis on arts, film, and creative writing. And my name is Karina, and I'm a fourth-year language science major with a minor in psych. And then
Hi, everyone. My name is Aline Pham, and I'm a fourth-year education sciences major and the lead student advisor at SOP.
Yes. So today we're just going to go over who we are as a campus, as a resource on campus, and outline some awards that you guys are eligible for and can apply for as art students or any other creative field. Let's just go ahead and admit other people. Alrighty. Yeah, and then also an overview of how to get involved. Let's go ahead and hide this. There you go. Okay. So yeah, okay. You want to start where? Okay. So at UCI, you're surrounded by a lot of campus resources. There's pretty much resources for anything and everything on campus. The first thing that I want to make an emphasis is that we are not the financial aid office. We don't look at your financial aid package or anything like that. We don't work with internal scholarships. We work with 21 merit-based prestigious external scholarships. So funding is coming from an outside resource, not from UCI. And how are we different? Just like I said, we're external, we advise for external scholarships, and outside of the funding that you can get from this program, you can make some really, really great lifelong connections with UCI faculty and other faculty that you may be involved with off campus, and networking and incredible experiences both nationally and internationally. It just depends on what you want to do. So the three main points that SOP, the Scholarship Opportunities Program, is really, really focused on is outreach, advising, and recognition. So outreach would be something like this, a workshop where we try and meet with as much of the UCI student body as possible. And we just let you know that we are a free on-campus resource. And advising is part of the scholarships that we do. So advising candidates and giving draft feedback on your personal statement, statement of grant purpose, or any other application materials, and maintain past winner applications. So as someone who's going through the SOP application process, you have access to past winning applications. So you can kind of know what scholarship committees are looking for. Sorry, guys, there's a lot of tech stuff going on right now. So and another thing we do is we help you with mock interviews for practice and stuff like that. That can be good for grad interviews, job interviews, anything like that. And writing endorsements and submitting final applications to the agencies. And we hold your hand throughout the entire process from beginning to end. And our staff is really, really cool. And we love keeping in touch with people even after they finish their SOP journey. So here is just an overview of the scholarships that we advise for. As you can see here, there's 21, and they're broken up into two main categories. Explorers 11 is throughout the fall and winter quarter of the academic year. And a lot of these are for undergraduates. So if you're a sophomore or junior, and we have some graduate awards as well. And a lot of these are STEM focused. A couple of them apply to the arts and humanities and stuff like that. And then the other one is the Trailblazers 10, and this happens through the spring and summer quarters of the academic year. And these are mainly for graduate awards only. And a lot of these you can do some art stuff with these as well. And just to clarify, when talking through scholarship purposes through our office, What matters is the time you have left and not the time you've been here. So let's say you're on a regular 4-year track. Your first year, you're a freshman, second year, a sophomore, and et cetera, et cetera. However, if you're doing, let's say, a 3-year graduation plan, your junior year through UCI is actually your senior year when you're applying for these scholarships. And alternatively, if you're doing 5 years, what would be considered your 4th and senior year at UCI is actually your junior year through these scholarships. So if that's a little confusing, you guys can let me know and I'll clarify. But that distinction is really, really important when applying for these scholarships.
So just to clarify, your senior year for scholarship purposes is your last year, your junior year is your second to last year, and your sophomore year is your third to last year.
Mm-hmm. So the next thing we can talk about is why these scholarships matter. All of these scholarships are prestigious. So winning them leads to like lifelong recognition and prestige. They're really, really great things to have on your resume. And they open new avenues for future study. So there's so many connections that you can make through applying through this office or winning a scholarship, that you can have these professional relationships to have for whatever field of study that you're interested in. And going through this process and applying for these scholarships really, really helps you clarify what you want to do with your career and your academic career as well. And a lot of the scholarship components for this you can use for grad school apps as well. And having these scholarships, if you win one or you're an alternate or you're a semi-finalist, any recognition from these scholarships is a really great thing to have. It raises UCI's reputation and the value of your own diploma that you get when you graduate from UCI. So I'm going to pass it off to Aline to talk about some of our fellowship case studies for the arts and humanities majors.
Okay, so again, if you are on our website, which is scholars.uci.edu, the scholarships table on there, as well as the flyer you have in person, highlights 21 awards. But today we're going to only cover a few of them that you might be interested in based on your background in arts, film, creative writing, and humanities. So the first one we have today is the Donald A. Strauss Foundation. The Strauss Scholarship is for a community service project proposal. You get $15,000. Half of it will go towards executing the project, and the other half will go towards your own expenses for education. Now, Strauss is open to sophomores and juniors. And just to remind you what Karina just said, that means if you have at least 1 year left at UCI. The reason being that you propose a project through your application, you need at least 1 more year at UCI in order to make that project happen. So I don't know if any of you have been to the Arroyo Vista Garden, but that was partially funded by a Strauss project by one of our past scholars. So Strauss is looking for students who have at least 1 year of previous leadership experience before they apply. And it falls under our Explorers 11, which is the fall/winter cycle. So the next time you could apply for Strauss is the next fall of 2023, which is next academic year. And during that fall, you have to be a sophomore or junior in order to apply. Right, and then it does say right there, submit a pre-application. We'll go over what a pre-application is in a bit. So one thing to note about Strauss is international and DACA students can apply. And let's see. They are looking for applicants from all backgrounds and disciplines, all majors, career paths, international or transfer students. It doesn't matter as long as you have a passion for community service. And then you want your project idea to be well conceived, and we can help you with that. But usually, or actually every Strauss project proposal has to be like in partnership with some kind of organization. And if that organization is not already pre-existing, you can found your own in order to make this Strauss grant happen. Right. And so our first Strauss recipient was actually, I should not say recipient, she was an alternate. Her name is Anne Marie, and she was a double major in bio and dance. So all of our case studies today are going to be people who have had some kind of experience in, the fields that were listed for this workshop. So that you get a sense of how you can channel your interests and background into a scholarship application. So during her time at UCI, Anne Marie founded Limitless Leaps, which was a program that provided free dance classes for students with Down syndrome and OC. And then she was also a private dance instructor in ballet, jazz, tap, and lyrical genres, in addition to volunteering at Long Beach Memorial Hospital and St. Jude's. And then at UCI, she participated in research that aligned with her dance interests. So all of these experiences, formed a very strong Strauss application project, and she was awarded the alternate status, which means that although she didn't get it for that cycle, she could potentially get the award in the future if more funding becomes available. And for all of these awards, you can apply multiple times. You can also apply to multiple awards at one time. So it's not like this is your last chance, unless of course you're a senior and it's only open to seniors. But we have annual cycles that reset every year. So let's say you don't get the Strauss 1 year, your sophomore year, you can apply as a junior, and your application will probably be even stronger because you're a reapplicant. All right. Yeah. Our next scholarship is the Beinecke Scholarship. This one is for students who are juniors, so 2 years left at UCI, since this is a fall application cycle, who are in arts, humanities, and social sciences. It's for graduate school, so you'll get $34,000 for getting a graduate degree in any of these fields. And again, it falls under our E11 cycle. One thing to note about the Beinecke is that it's different from all of the other awards we advise for because it is the only one that requires extreme financial need. Everything else is merit-based at our office. So take that into consideration, and you can apply the Beinecke to study in getting master's or PhD in the US, as long as it falls under those categories and is not neuroscience. Okay, next. We have our most popular and flexible award that SOP advises for. This is called the Fulbright US Student Program. So what that means is the Fulbright program sends US citizens to another country for a year. You can choose from one of 140 countries. And I'm going to go over the different grants that you could go through Fulbright for, but you would apply as a junior, senior, or recent alumni within 1 year of graduation from UCI. So how Fulbright works is it is under our Trailblazers 10 spring/summer cycle. So the earliest you can apply is this spring, and that pre-application will become available sometime this month, and it will be due in April. So Fulbright, how it works is you apply with us a full year before you want to go on the Fulbright grant. So for example, if you're taking the traditional 4-year route and you want to graduate from UCI and then immediately go to a Fulbright grant abroad the year after you graduate from UCI, you would have to apply during the spring of your junior year, your second to last year. Now, if you decide to apply as a senior, your last year at UCI, that just means that you won't go to Fulbright until you've done a gap year after graduation from UCI. So it's like you graduate a full year before you want to go abroad. And then similarly, if you decide to graduate as a recent alumni 1 year after you already graduated, if you decide to apply for Fulbright as an alumni 1 year after you graduated from UCI, then that just pushes you back 1 year more. So you graduated from UCI, you took a gap year, two gap years, and then you go on to Fulbright grant. So I know it might seem kind of confusing, but the most important thing to know is just if you want to go on a Fulbright grant immediately upon graduation from UCI, you need to apply during your second to last year at UCI. And this award is during spring, like you apply during spring. So anyways, specifics of Fulbright. There are a few options you could do. The first one is a study/research grant. In that one, you can do an independent research grant. So like studying some topic abroad in another country, you could be affiliated with a university or faculty member, but you're not getting a degree, which is what the second option is. You would be enrolled in some kind of graduate institution or program in another country where you're getting like a master's degree, for example, for 1 year that will be funded through Fulbright. And then the third option is an English Teaching Assistantship Award, which is also very popular. And that's where you go to another country for a year to teach English as a TA. And the competitiveness of the award depends on the country and the award type. The award type is those three options I just told you about. And the country you can just look up on Google, Fulbright, Fulbright US program statistics, and you can literally see your chances of getting an award for example, a study research degree in Japan, or Malaysia, for example. But so the acceptance rate varies by country and award. Okay. Let's see. So grants generally provide round trip transportation, language or orientation courses, tuition, books, a living stipend, and even health insurance. And if you are interested in Fulbright and you want to increase your competitiveness, you want to have at least 1 year of relevant experience for the award that you pursue. So if you want to go to grad school in Germany, you should have a year of research experience. If you want to be an ETA in Mexico, you should have at least 1 year of experience teaching English or working with kids or in a classroom setting. All right. And then if the host country is or uses another language other than English, then you should gain at least intermediate proficiency in that language before you apply. So like as part of the application process, they might ask you, what are your plans on honing your language skills? And you could say, I'm planning to take a course, I'm planning to do a self-evaluation, planning to use Duolingo this summer. Whatever will convince the committee that you are a good fit for this country and this award. And with that said, countries that don't require you to speak another language other than English, such as the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, are going to be more competitive because more students are interested in them. Okay. So our first case study here is Audrey Garcia for Fulbright, and she went to Belgium in order to do a study research grant on the history of comics at Comic Arts Museum. So Audrey was in honors here at UCI. She did comparative literature and philosophy, and as you can see, she speaks a lot of languages, which definitely helped her present herself as like the cultural ambassador type of applicant for Fulbright. So she had experience not only learning different languages, but volunteering to teach them. And I'm surprised she's not an education major because those definitely line up with that field. But anyways, she did research as an undergrad through Europe and SERP. And then all of these experiences made for a great match for Fulbright because she's got the different cultural backgrounds and linguistic backgrounds and the research experience to, sell herself to Fulbright. And so she also, in addition to Fulbright, won the Chancellor Award for Excellence in Undergrad Research and was a Panther Pride Association recipient. So different awards that you've won in the past can go into your new applications for new scholarships. Let's see. One thing about Audrey is, you might be wondering what she's doing now. She intends to continue her studies in an English doctoral program after her research grant or Fulbright grant. And then she wants to conduct research in literature, visual studies, and cultural studies. So after a PhD, Audrey wants to become a professor of literature and teach classes focused on the interconnectivity of pop culture imagery and ideas of nation and identity. Our next SOP scholar is Felipe. He was a double major in poli-sci and music performance at UCI. He participated in SAGE. And some things about him is he was a low-income first-gen student, and he used those experiences to enroll in UCI, get involved in SAGE, and even found and lead a nonprofit organization that enrolled low-income and minority youth in colleges. So you can kind of get a sense of what his personal statement sounded like, leveraging his past personal and extracurricular experiences to craft this narrative of, I need to go to this country to achieve this goal, and this is why I need Fulbright to sponsor me. The thing about Felipe is he didn't stop there. He also won 2 other very, very prestigious scholarships that our office advises for. At the bottom there, you see Truman and Marshall. So in his junior year, Felipe won Truman to fund a law school. And then after graduating, that's when he served as a Fulbright teaching assistant in Colombia. And then after that, he decided to work as a full-time employee in Sacramento as a Senate Fellow in the California Capitol Fellows Program. So that's another award that we advise for. He's very accomplished, as you can see. But all of these experiences definitely helped him win ultimately the Marshall Scholarship. So he was our first UCI winner in 18 years. And what the Marshall is it funds graduate study in any UK university for grad school. So he decided to go to the University of Bristol, where he, as well as Oxford, where he studied international development and evidence-based social intervention and policy evaluation. And currently, after all of this, he is getting his law degree at Harvard. He focuses on civil rights and volunteers as a student attorney on labor and immigration cases. And his ultimate goal is to run for elected office. Okay, so those are only 2 case studies, right? But Fulbright offers so many different awards. It's very diverse. There's honestly something for everyone. So besides creative writing, Fulbright accepts proposals in lots more artistic disciplines. And if you decide to apply in arts, in addition to collecting letters of recommendation from professors, as well as an affiliate, like from a mentor in your desired host country, you also want to prepare supporting materials such as a portfolio or a video of your artistic work. And examples of artistic work along with your written application will be evaluated holistically by the application committee. But the most important selection criterion will be your technical and artistic skills within your artistic discipline. So anything that can attest to that you can show off to the committee would be very helpful. And then if you become a semifinalist, depending on your field, you could also be required to travel to New York or another city for an audition. This is very specific. That's just if it applies to performance art, for example. But once you decide, let's say you do want to go through with a Fulbright grant or application, your primary advisor whom you'll be paired with for the entire application journey can help you go through all these specific requirements for your award. All right, so some other examples are displayed here on the screen. There are so many different Fulbright grants. For example, the John Wood Lambda Award in Classical Acting funds a 1-year master's in classical acting in London. And then the Trinity Award in Music and Dance funds a 1-year master's degree for the first year of a longer master's or PhD in music or dance at the Trinity Conservatoire of Music and Dance. And then finally, for example, Northumbria, I hope I'm not butchering that, University Award is in Art and Design, and that'll fund 1 or 2 years for a master's or PhD. So these partnership awards fund degrees to specific institutions throughout the United Kingdom, but you can also, through Fulbright, postgraduate study in the arts and institutions for other programs. You just have to do your own research and looking at what countries are available.
Okay, so now we're going to get more into the abroad scholarship. So as you can see here, there's 5 listed on the screen. And all of these are, especially the first 3, are incredibly competitive. These are really based on making strong connections between the US and other nations. And they're really looking for ambitious and accomplished graduate student leaders. And these scholarships require significant achievements in leadership, research, or public service. And for these scholarships, you can apply as a junior, senior, or recent alumni. And to be able to apply to these scholarships through SOP, in fact, a lot of these require campus endorsement. And just a kind of quick overview of what that means, it's basically just a stamp of approval from UCI as an institution, letting the scholarship committees know that you are a very qualified candidate. During these endorsement processes, our office kind of acts as the face of UCI, and we're the ones that give you that stamp of approval. And then you would submit a pre-application by April 10th, 2023. So kind of like the very beginning of the following spring quarter. So Rhodes is a scholarship that will take you to Oxford in the UK. Gates is for Cambridge, and the Marshall is for any school in the UK that you'd like to go to. These are really, really competitive. Rhodes, for example, just to kind of give you an example, requires 7 to 8 letters of recommendation. So that's just something to keep an eye out. And then if you schedule an appointment with us, we can kind of go through these scholarships and let you know what what we think, or what you think is like the best suited scholarship for you. And Mitchell is to Ireland, and Schwartzman is to China, but it's only for a global affairs master's degree. You can't go for any other field, unlike the other ones that you kind of have more leeway with what you want to study. Am I missing anything?
I did want to make a few notes. So Schwarzman is for a specific university in China called Tsinghua University. And then on the topic of endorsement, you might be wondering like what that is. So it's just an additional step in the application process that SOP guides you through. You don't have to apply for endorsement. It's automatically integrated within the process. So at the end of the application, towards the end of the application cycle, once you have like a pretty solid draft of everything in the application that's required, you'll have an endorsement interview or an endorsement meeting, depending on what award you're applying to. And that's basically where you sit down with your primary advisor, your letter writers, and even mentors who didn't necessarily write you a letter, but who can attest to your strengths anyway. And the whole purpose of it is twofold. One, it's to give you feedback on how to polish and finalize your application before you submit it, so that you're not just getting feedback from us, but also your own mentors. And then the second purpose is so that we can gather all this praise and positive feedback about you to write an endorsement letter on behalf of UCI. So that's what the stamp of approval is and how you get there. But it's nothing to worry about yet. And that, by the way, is only happens if you're applying to an award that has an asterisk next to it. So if there's no asterisk, you don't have to do endorsement, which also means you technically don't have to apply through SOP for that award. But of course, we recommend that you do. And the last quick note is LORs. I know 7 to 8 sounds incredibly intense, but that's only for Rhodes. Most of our awards only require 3.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be talking about is about graduate scholarships in the US. So there are 3 that will fund graduate study here in the US. The first one is the Knight Hennessy Scholars. And this one is really competitive, and a large part of it is because it's new. There's only like 4 or 5 cohorts. So it's very, very fresh. And another thing that adds to its competitiveness is that you have to get into Stanford. So if you're applying for the Knight Hennessy Scholarship, you're applying concurrently to Stanford, and getting the Knight Hennessy is conditional on whether you get into Stanford at all, basically. And then the next one is the Soros for New Americans. This one is for if your parents were born outside of the US. And this one is for any school, any major that you, or any master's degree that you'd like to go to. You would just have to write in your statement of grant purpose, which you have to do for every grad app, is why you want to go there, what can you get from this program, et cetera, et cetera. And the last one is the National Science Foundation for a Graduate Research Fellowship. And this one is very STEM focused. If you want to do research in the med field or anything like that, this is your go-to. And yes, same thing as the slide previously. These pre-applications will have to be submitted by April 10th at noon. And these you can apply as a junior, senior, or a recent alumni.
Sorry, I keep adding. So I realized we might have lost. We don't have like more slides on these, so I'm going to go into more detail about them. Knight Hennessy will fund any program at Stanford, and you could apply either, for grad school immediately after UCI, or you could even apply later on down the road after you've earned like a master's degree. So a lot of the current scholars are obviously very accomplished considering they're at Stanford, fully funded for their program. And although that may seem intimidating, they took a while to boost their resume to that level, right? So that's Stanford or Knight Hennessy for you. Soros, both of your parents have to have been born outside the United States as non-US citizens. hence the New American Scholarship. That one will fund grad school anywhere in the US. And so for these two awards particularly, they're looking for big dreamers, people who have an impressive record of not only academic, but leadership experiences as an undergrad, but also people who have a big dream for the future, right? And they want to go to Stanford or some graduate program in the US for a very strong and particular reason, and they need funding for it. So a lot of the application process is going to be your rationale. Like, why are you applying to this program? Why do you need our funding? Why this school? And you have to have an answer for all of that in order to be a competitive applicant. So also for eligibility, Soros, not only is the parent requirement there, but US citizens, permanent residents, and DACA recipients can apply.
Alrighty, so now that we're talking about what SOP is and some of the scholarships that you can get through our office, we're going to tell you about how you can get started with your SOP process. So the first thing that we kind of want to establish, like I said earlier, is that there's so many resources on campus available to you, and almost all of them are free. The first one that you can do just by showing up to class and making relationships with faculty and other campus partners is making those relationships so that you can use them for letters of recommendation or just your own professional and academic development. Having conversations with any mentors or faculty on the UCI campus, or even if you're involved in any outside organizations, is a really great way to just kind of know more about yourself and what you want to do. And they're a really great resource for your future endeavors. The next thing is, if you are interested in research, or even just want to try it out, Europe is a really great opportunity. They are on the 5th floor of the science library as well, next door to the SOP office. They also do advising as well. So if that's something you're interested, go ahead and check them out. They're really great. And then the next one is optional, but any and all experience and extracurricular activities are appreciated when you're applying for these types of scholarships. So studying abroad is a really great thing to have on your resume or your CV. And that would be directed more towards the UCEAP Center or the Study Abroad Center on campus. And then the next thing is pursuing internships and community service in your desired field. One thing that you can do to kind of find out what your options are clubs, and also talking to professors. A lot of them have maybe like connections that they can let you know about, any organizations they're affiliated with, and also lab research if that's something you're interested in, and seeking out leadership opportunities as well. Clubs is a really great thing. ASUCI, things like that, or any, again, outside organizations are very valid as well. And then the last thing is joining a reputable honor society like Phi Beta Kappa, and we'll talk about that at the end of the presentation. And we just want to emphasize that GPA and the coursework are only a small part of your selection criteria. A lot of these scholarships like to look at you as an entire person and as a candidate. So extracurriculars, any other thing besides GPA and academics will be considered during this process. So here we have kind of a roadmap, and this will be enlarged in the next slide. But this is just to let you know that there is no one formula for winning a scholarship or getting recognition from these scholarships. Everything is so individualized. Everyone has different goals and different pathways they want to take, or different experiences. So we just want to emphasize that we'll be with you the entire way. So we work with what you have. And we're also really great for kind of directing you to any opportunities that we know about that can be beneficial to you. And everything maps out onto your application process, and going through SOP kind of helps you explore what you want to do, who you are, and how to get the most out of your UCI experience, because we are a free campus resource. And we just help you reflect on your experience and help you convey it into writing, since your essays are a really big part of your application. And that's what your primary advisor, which we'll explain later, is there to help you with. So this is just that like enlarged picture. So the first step is to attend a workshop like you're doing now. And then the next thing would just be kind of taking a deeper dive into our website and seeing what you want to do, what's right for you, what's not right for you, et cetera, et cetera. And then the next thing would be to schedule an appointment with a student advisor. So that would be like me or Aline or any of the other student advisors in our office. And we can give you like a very one-on-one personalized kind of walkthrough of what your journey would look like if you were to go through our office. And then the next thing would be to enroll into SOP prep, which we will also get into. And then the last step would be to complete a pre-application, which we will also get into. So
All right, so narrowing down the last two steps of that map, there are two requirements in order to get involved or participate in SOP advising. The first one being the SOP prep course. And course may sound intimidating, but I assure you it's not. We'll give you an overview in the next slide, but basically SOP prep is intended for undergraduates with sophomore or higher standing and a cumulative GPA of at least 3.0. So this whole program is intended to let us as an office get to know you as a potential candidate and give you a sense of what the SOP advising process entails. Because we don't want you to be surprised by anything that the application process is going to bring forward. So it's open entry, open exit. The instructions and link to enroll are on our website, scholars.uci.edu, which is on the flyer you have here. And it's at your own pace. So you can start it anytime. You can take as long as you need to do it, as long as you finish it by the pre-application deadline for the scholarship you are interested in. So again, going back to our two cycles, if you're interested in any of the upcoming spring or summer awards in the Trailblazers 10 cycle, you want to submit or complete prep by April 10th at noon. And then similarly, if you're interested in any of the fall awards, which will happen next academic year, you have a lot more time to complete prep until October 23rd. All right, so the next slide is an overview of what prep entails. So there's really only 3 journal entries that involve some kind of written response to prompts, such as who are your role models, what is your educational ambition or career trajectory, so we can get to know you. And with each response that you submit, a student advisor is reading it. We're giving you feedback. We're making sure that you're on the right path to ultimately apply for a scholarship with our office. And so after you're done with those journal entries, the 5th task is to take a quiz that will ask your personal background and scholarship interests, so it can generate a list of results of potential scholarships that you're eligible for and that you might fit your interests. And then finally, you will book an advising appointment with a student advisor so we can sit down with your results. The narrower, the better, obviously. So the more research you've done on scholarships and what you want before your appointment, the better for us. That way we can tailor it more to your application. Right, so that is SOP prep. And then the second task to do before you participate in SOP advising is the pre-application. So the pre-app is basically a statement of intent to advise or to participate in SOP advising. And it's a form that gathers your personal information as well as your scholarship interests, such as all the leadership and language research experiences you had before, as well as your future plans and potential recommendation writers. So we know you're thinking about that. All that information only goes to the SOP office. It's not going to be viewed by any external scholarship agencies. It's just for our purposes to prepare to advise you as a candidate. And so again, there's 2 different pre-app deadlines. If you're interested in any of the abroad/graduate awards that are coming up this spring, then your pre-app deadline is April 10th at noon. And then if you're interested in any of the Explorers 11 awards, which generally cover undergraduate awards, research awards, and leadership awards, those have a pre-application deadline of October. Right. And then all deadlines for SOP, regardless of whether it's a pre-application or a job application, which we'll go over in a bit, or a scholarship application material submission, are always at noon. But if you have any issues with that, communicate with your primary advisor and they'd be happy to make adjustments. Okay, we have a question on Zoom from Noor. You raise your hand?
Yes. Yeah, I have a question. If that's okay.
Audio.
Did you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
Right.
I have a question. I think you don't talking about the one I interested in it, which is closed this month, 12 on this month. So I didn't know. Is offering, I think, by UC.
What is the name of the award?
there are multiple things. There are multiple ones.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. So
Yeah,
we're-
some of them, one of them I'm interested in it, which is School of Humanities Award in History. So this is will close on the 12th this month, like a week from now.
Mhm.
But I didn't know I'm in the correct place or not, because all this scholarship is I didn't think about it. I'm here to talk about those scholarship.
Yeah. So Noor on Zoom is asking about a UCI scholarship.
Right, I think that one, yeah.
Yeah, and that is run and managed by the UCI Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. We, Scholarship Opportunities Program, or SOP, are separate from OFAS. So OFAS is the one who's managing Scholarships Universe. They are in charge of your FAFSA, and they're located in Aldrich Hall. We, SOP, only advise for the 21 awards that are on our website, and for those of you in person that are on here.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend you reach out to Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships.
Yeah, just I received this email and I registered for it. I thought which is the same one. Also, I received email to apply for this one, the UC scholarship, because when you share the name for the scholarship, it's totally different to that when I read it. So yeah.
So unfortunately, our office does not advise or help students apply to any UC awards. All of the
Yeah.
awards we advise for or work with
Yeah, I understand.
are externally funded, not UCI, and they're prestigious merit
okay.
awards.
Yeah,
So sorry
so-
about that.
Yeah, okay. So if I have any question about this scholarship, which is UC, I can go to the financial, right?
Yes, Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships, sometimes they're a little slow to respond, so you might also want to reach out to the Humanities Department, since you said it's a scholarship
History.
from them,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would reach out like to the director of the Humanities Department as well.
Okay, if I'm going to my department, also is okay.
What was that?
If I'm going to my department, which is a history.
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, good to know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I can't leave right now, so thank
Right,
you.
so before we wrap up this presentation, we have two quick notes. The first one being the Honor Society we briefly mentioned before. Phi Beta Kappa is the oldest, most prestigious academic honor society in the US, and luckily UCI has a chapter here. It is invite only, so they invite the top 1% of juniors and the top 5% of seniors. But we're here to let you know that it's very prestigious, and if you receive an invitation, be on the lookout in your email. Definitely accept, because it's a great accolade to add to your resume and makes you more competitive for scholarships. But of course, it's not absolutely necessary. You can definitely win an award without PBK status, but we're just here to let you know of the benefits. And then the second one, so SOP is hiring. We have two positions open. The first one being the student advisor role, which is what Karina and I are right now. And now student advisors help students like you apply to the 21 awards we advise for. Our job is very enjoyable, and it not only involves like hosting workshops like this, but we also host one-on-one advising appointments with students. We are in constant contact by emailing students, potential like letter writers, as well as, any people, various people all around campus who help us with our office mission. We also provide feedback on essays and application components, and we just support students as they apply to these awards. And then the second position that's open is for the media intern role. And that one, if you are a student who has passion for or a strong experience in graphic design, editing, website design, like Canva, for example, then we definitely encourage you to apply, because our media interns are in charge of keeping update the website, our Instagram and social media platforms, as well as creating any graphics such as the ones you see here for various events that we have. The deadline for these is Friday, February 17th at noon. You can either apply by going to Handshake and going on to the Google links directed there, but they're also here if you would like to take a photo, or if you scan the QR at the end of the presentation, that'll take you to our card or link tree that has these two applications on them. Right.
Alrighty, so as today comes to a close, we just want to thank you again for stopping by to the workshop. Again, that QR code will kind of take you to like a card that has like all of our information, our website, stuff like that. Again, there is our email up on the screen. You can visit our website for any other information, or you can go ahead and just schedule an appointment with us if you'd like more of a one-on-one type deal. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and type them in the chat, or you guys can just let us know if you're in person. So yeah.
You're welcome, Marissa. And please sign in or
Yeah.
check in with the QR.
So let me go back to, yeah, just if you haven't already, just go ahead and sign in because it really helps out our office. So yeah. Okay. Okay.